It might be shocking to learn that hippos are not as clumsy or cuddly as we might think. They can fight back against lions, trample a big crocodile, and even chase away a shark from their domain. And if a hippo gets in the way of a jeep, they'll need to go to a car repair shop after. This episode will show you the most interesting and unusual encounters with hippos, as well as people. It's something worth seeing more than once. Let's go. Number 10. Lioness. In the wild, hippos have almost no enemies. No wonder, because if you would dare to attack such a huge animal with a thick skin and a giant mouth, but sometimes skirmishes do occur. This footage shows a lioness approaching a hippo that's resting peacefully. By poking the hippo with its muzzle, the lioness angered the giant. It immediately woke up and showed the lioness that it did a big mistake. It quickly caught up with the lioness and bit it on the head. The lioness was in the giant's mouth for some time, but soon slipped out and escaped. It was incredibly lucky because the footage shows that such a bite could have been fatal for the lioness. Perhaps from now on, it will not run into hippos. Number 9. Bite. There are not many animals in Africa that are larger than the hippos, but they do exist. What about the African elephant, which is the largest land animal on Earth? Sometimes there are conflicts between elephants and hippos. Here, for example, an elephant decided to wade across a pond where several dozen hippos were resting. The elephant tried not to disturb anyone, so the hippos took its crossing calmly, but one of the hippos decided to spit nails. The rude hippo tried to bite the elephant's tail and chased it almost all the way to the shore. It would seem that the elephant has every right to trample the hippo, but it showed a noble composure and only lightly kicked the hippo, which caused laughter from the people who filmed the video. It looked really funny. The hippo realized that the prank had failed and went on to rest. Number 8. Rescue from a crocodile. That hippo was strange because usually these giants never pounce on an animal they've rescued. Here's a great example. This video captured another animal. Almost everyone in Africa hunts these poor creatures. This time a crocodile decided to prey on the antelope. It seized hold of the animal paw and tried to hold it down and push it into the pond. The battle lasted about 2 minutes and it seemed that the antelope had no chance. Luckily for it, 2 hippos soon showed up near the shore. One of them trampled the crocodile, allowing the antelope to escape. Although the antelope was seriously injured, it survived. The only strange thing is that none of the congeners helped, since the shore was full of them. The hippo easily handled the crocodile. Perhaps these giants should choose more serious opponents. Maybe huge elephant or rhino would do, or should hippos be given an uncomfortable and unusual opponent? For example, aggressive shark. Stay tuned to find how the battles with these animals ended and see what happens when hippo meets a human on its way. Let's move on. Number 7. Antelope. Given these signs and aggressive behavior of hippos, many people might think they're predators. But surprisingly, they are not. Hippos feed on near water or terrestrial grasses and mostly rest in bodies of water. Nevertheless, there is information about hippos' predatory habits. For example, there was recently footage of a hippo attacking an antelope. First, it was attacked by wild African dogs, which in a pack almost mauled the poor thing. Luckily for it, there was a hippo nearby. It saved the antelope by chasing the dogs away, but the antelope running away from the dogs got stuck in the mud. For some reason, the hippo didn't like it very much. It became furious, made several attempts to bite the antelope and soon succeeded it. The final bite was the last one for the antelope. Number 6. Annoying hippo. What other large animal lives in Africa? The rhino, of course. It's worth taking a look at the rhino-hippo confrontation that took place in 2019 in South Africa. Ranger Mike Kirkman and his colleagues caught it on camera. The hippo was running around the rhinos and pestering them. Wasn't that the hippo that bothered the elephant from the previous video? Anyway, at first, the rhinos paid little or no attention to the hippo. They probably didn't see it as a threat. At some point, the hippo became too annoying, and then one of the rhinos decided to chase it away. It turned to the hippo, which at that moment opened its huge mouth and put its long and sharp horn to the curious guest palate. This didn't help, and then the rhino decided to chase the hippo away by force, pushing it from behind with its horn. The hippo clearly attacked the wrong guys. Number 5. The battle at the water body. Okay, let's put it down to the fact that there were a lot of rhinos, But what would happen if a hippo went into a one-on-one duel with a rhino? There's a battle like that in this episode. It took place in the water body. We see the rhino and two hippos, one of them apparently playing the role of referee. The battle begins very quickly. The hippo pushes the rhino further into the water body, ramming it with its lower jaw. Then there's a change of position. The boat turns around and grabs the side of the rhino, which is already beginning to fall. This is where the video ends. But judging by the hippo's pressure and its last successful actions, it won the fight. This once again confirms the power of these giants, but still the fight was not fair. The rhino didn't have its main weapon, the horn. In all likelihood had been sawn off by poachers. If he had it, it could have fought back against the hippo. Number 4. Hippo versus buffalo. Another giant of Africa is the African buffalo. These animals are very aggressive. Not for nothing they rank third after crocodiles and hippos in the number of attacks on humans. But sometimes African buffaloes don't mind competing with hippos. This footage shows a hippo encountering an African buffalo by the river. They both didn't like the encounter, so it opened its mouth wide and began to intimidate the buffalo. Realizing that this was not working, the hippo went on the attack, ran at the buffalo and began to push it into the river. The buffalo realized it was at the wrong place at the wrong time, so it did not engage in battle together with the other buffalo. It ran away, leaving the river to the hippo. Another victory for the hippo. Number 3. Against fish. Do you think all hippo battles are limited to confrontation with lions, crocodiles, rhinos and elephants? Not at all. These monsters can stand up to fish as well. And no, I'm not talking about small fish. I mean big sharks. It's hard to believe, but sometimes hippos do fight real sharks. This footage shows just such a confrontation. There's a bull shark lurking underwater. It's dangerous, not only because of its aggression and large size, but also because it can swim from salt seas to freshwater rivers, the habitat of hippos. A family them. The mammals clearly become nervous and then take turns trying to attack the intruder. The course of the fight itself is not particularly visible, but eventually the shark swam away. According to the author of the video, the shark was faster than the hippos, which literally saved its life. Number 2. Car. You can see a lot of interesting things on African roads. Here's one of them. The hippo did not like the car that was parked right in front of it. After walking around the car for a while, the hippo attacked it. It started to cloth the bumper of the car with its huge mouth and almost ripped it off. The driver was lucky. He pulled back in time. A few meters were enough. The hippo lost interest in the car and calmed down. Interestingly, at that moment, the hippo was attacked by a whole ride of lions. One of the lionesses even grabbed and almost hung on the giant. But the hippo didn't care about it. It was as if the hippo didn't feel the lioness. It was as if the hippo was depressed. How else to explain his lack of interest in its enemy? Number 1. Car 2. And here's something more. Once again, we have an African road with a hippo standing at the fence. As the driver drove closer, he provoked the hippo. It was obviously in a bad mood, so it immediately attacked the car, hitting the bumper. The impact was very strong. It felt as if the driver had driven into another car. That's what a multi-ton African giant is capable of. Luckily, it didn't go on the attack. Having damaged the car, the hippo calmed down and left, but the driver had to restore the car. You can see on the photo how much damage the hippo caused. It's frightening to imagine what could have happened if the guy hadn't been driving an SUV, but a motorcycle. That's all, guys. Which battle from this episode surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you later.